Hello everyone, it's Rachel out from Moments to Milestones, and we have a new card class today. This is the Americana Summer card class featuring the 12 by 12 papers from Carta. We're going to make these 3 cards. If you purchase a kit, it comes packaged like so. The 3 cards are kitted in the back. And then this insert here has written instructions with a picture of each card, as well as all the supplies I used to create the kits. So we're going to jump right in with this first card, Let's Celebrate. And I'm going to get a little tray here to put my card kit in, because there are 12 little stars in here. The other thing that I did do on all of my card samples was I inked the edges of everything. I used the Memento Toffee Crunch and a dauber. I think today, for time's sake, for the video, I'm going to skip that step, and then you can see the difference and decide for yourself what you would like to do. So we're going to start. We're going to put this craft paper onto our white card base. And then we're going to put down the flag, or I guess it's just the striped panel, the red striped panel. Alright, so we're just going to put that on there centered. And then you have this little blue polka dot piece that's going to go up here in the corner. Make sure my card's opening the right way. There we go. Well, that's going to go right up here. Glue that on, and then we're just going to glue those white stars on there. So let me get my pickup tool, and I'm going to place the first 3 and then get them spaced the way I want them. And then we can gauge everything else from there. One, 2. 3. All right, those look good to me, lined up. And then I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 over here on this side. And I'm gonna scoot them in just a little bit so it matches over here. Alright, so then we're just going to equally put the other 4 on, or 6. I seem to be missing one. Alright, I found my other star, so I've got that last star on there. And this one's not exactly where I want it. See if I can still move it. Alright, so there are the stars. And now we're going to work on the sentiment, and you've got 2 little red hearts and some blue stars. So you can put it straight on, and then we've got cue the confetti. You can have it hang off here. I pulled it all the way and snip the edge. It's entirely up to you. But I am going to put foam on the back. So let's do that. I'm going to cut this one in half. All right, so if I have this in this area here, I'm just going to kind of hold it there, and then I'm going to ever so slightly tilt it. It's up to you, just like so. And then this one's popped up as well, but oops, I think I cut that a little long. I think mine's going to hang off the edge, so I'm going to cut some of that off. All right. Now I think your picture may show differently than what I'm doing here, so feel free to do whatever looks good to you. I think originally, and then I couldn't find the die that I used for that original banner, so I had to switch it up, and this one's a little longer, so I kind of like it cut off like so. I am going to stick some foam behind that because I didn't put quite enough on. And I'll keep it sturdy. And then we're going to finish with those hearts and stars. So I got the large heart up here, the smaller one down there. So I'm going to glue those on. And then we're going to finish with these 2 stars. I'm just going to put it there and right here. All right, and that finishes that card. So you can see the difference of if you like the rustic look versus the clean look. You can choose for yourself. Okay, our next card is Hello, Always Thinking of You, with this really pretty Americana quilt. You do have little red letters in there we don't want to lose. And so same thing, I did not ink the sentiment on this one. And I also did not use enough glue. My thing keeps popping up. Textured paper. But anyway, I'm not going to ink this time. So I'm just going to put this craft piece down. Just like so. And then this quilt piece gets layered onto the blue, just like that. And I think because it is, I have embossed it with like a piercing cover plate die, it's kind of bumpy, so I'm gonna use wet glue. Just make sure it sticks good. Just put a block over that for a moment while we layer up the hello. So you should have a vellum shadow, and then we have the letters, the red letters that spell hello. I'm just going to stick those on. And we're going to finish with the O. All right, so there's our hello. And I'm going to go ahead and flip that around, and I am going to cut little pieces of foam to put behind there so that I can pop it up. So these little thin strips are just perfect because it's the same thickness of the letters. So it won't take much. Could also, if you had the die, cut multiple layers and do it that way. All right, making sure I can't see any of that. We're good. I'm going to pull off the backing. All right, this should be dry. It's nice and flat. And I'm going to actually stick this down first. I did not pop it up because I popped up the hello. So I'm just gonna glue that down. Let's see. Here is the bottom of my card. You just want to make sure your flags are going the right way. Just pop that in the center. And I can see a little bit of my white card base. I'm going to probably trim that off just because it bugs me a little bit. I'm just going to stick that in the trimmer and just shave that off, and now we're good to go. All right, and then your hello is going to go on here, and we're going to put it kind of in between where this, there's 3 squares. We're going to kind of put it in that lower third right here. Just like so. And then we have the always thinking of you. Now I did trim mine down. It's just on a longer strip. It makes it easier to stamp. I'm just going to take my scissors and chop off those edges. And then I'm going to put foam on the back. We're just going to tuck that right under. I do have it ever so slightly overlapping the vellum of the hello. So there you go. And that card is finished. Okay, we're moving right along here. Our last card, have a happy summer. And these are your stars. They're probably taped on there. All right. Let's go ahead and start with getting this gingham piece down. All right, so you will have an ever so slightly small white border. It's going to be very thin. There we go. And then this piece is going to go in the center, and that is glued straight down as well. We're just going to center that on there. Looks good. Okay. And then I'm actually going to put my have a happy summer so I can place my sticks where I want them. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this piece up. All right, let's remove the backing. we're just going to center this down at the bottom here. I use my tweezers. All right, there's that. All right, so now we're going to build up. We're done with this for now. Let's build up our popsicle. So you should have 2 layers for every popsicle. And you should have 3 popsicle sticks, which I do. And then you have this white scrap. So in the detail piece, there is a highlight. And so I'm going to give you this little piece of white to trim off a little piece here. And we're going to put it behind the highlight. I'm just going to put glue there. And put that right there. Now, just strategically place it so we don't see it. There we go. And I'll just have to cut off that excess. Just like so. And then this piece just gets layered on top. You could use foam if you want to create the look of more dimension, or if you don't want something as thick as foam, they do make a thin profile foam, which I happen to have solid sheets of, so I might try that. Or you can just, on this card here, I just glue it straight down, but because I'm not inking, I felt like the inking helped them pop up more. So I'm going to try this. We'll see. I'm not going to go crazy. You could also cut several layers of the popsicle to get the same effect. I'm just going to put 3 strips on the back and we'll see what it looks like. I do have this little extra piece I am going to put up here. So I do like that better. It does create a shadow, so that's up to you if you want to do that. Like I said, if you're inking it, or you could just ink the popsicles so that you can see the difference, that's a choice as well. All right, so there's that, and I'm going to repeat those steps for the other 2 popsicles. All right, for our last popsicle here, there they are. So you can see the difference between inking and that thin foam. I think the thick foam would actually be too much, but I really like that. And now you have your 3 popsicle sticks. So we are just going to lay those out, making sure that textured side is up on all 3. It kind of looks like wood. And then we're just going to put some glue at the top of each one. And I'm just going to use my guide here. There we go. I don't want them real long, so they're about a 1/2 inch long, 3/4 sticking out. So I'm just using my my grid mat to help me with that placement. So 1, 2, 3, go. So there are my 3 popsicles. And then I'm also going to need these when we get done. So we'll just, I'm going to take those off of the Post-it tape. There we go. And we're going to put those on. So we've got red, white, blue. So I did pop up this one here. Let's get those off of there. So it's really however you want them to look. And I'm trying to keep them inside, but also not overlapping the sentiment. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those and put this one down. I'm going to need a piece on the stick, and I know they're overlapping, so I'm going to put them kind of close together just so it doesn't get in the way. Oops. All right. So this popsicle is going to go right there. And then that one we're just going to tuck in. Like so. And this one. All right, there's our 3 red, white, and blue popsicles, and now we're just going to go through and add some of these blue flowers. So I just kind of have them scattered going up this direction. There. And there we are. And that card is finished. All right, that finishes up this Americana summer card class. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these cards. If you're interested in purchasing a kit, you can look us up at frommomentstomilestone.com and search for our card classes there. I will leave a link below so that you can check out our current inventory. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.